Right fellas, welcome back to a brand new video. A while ago I bought a Sierra Cosworth 4-wheel drive engine for £5,000 from London. I got it out the back of a van and to be honest it looked rough. And we've been stripping it down. We're going to rebuild it to at least 500 brake horsepower. And a lot of people have been asking what I'm going to do with the engine because I've bought an Escort Cosworth and it's not going in there. I've got a 3-door Cosworth, it's not going in there. So what I want is I still want a rally shell, an Escort Cosworth rally shell, and I want to do a retro mod, so I want to get a rally shell, put rally livery on it, 2 bucket seats, a roll cage, but I want aircon, Bluetooth, cup holders, I want to make it a mad thing, screamer pipe, sequential gearbox, mad thing. Anyway, that's the plans with the engine when it's rebuilt. Now, I have had some parts cleaned. So in this box we have a bottom pulley. Right, this is what we need for today because we're rebuilding the cylinder head. So we've got a cam pulley, one of these, it's been zinc plated. So we've got one, we also need another one. There's actually three because one powers a distributor. That is the one from the bottom of the engine, you can see it's a bit pitted. We've got a nice new one here at the top. So we'll get rid of this. Right, so there we have 2 nice new pulleys, nicely zinc plated, and we've also got some new washers and bolts. And what these are for is, if I get one out of the bag, the washer goes on there, then your bolt goes through there, and that goes into the camshaft. So we'll need these today. So we'll take these with us to get the cylinder head rebuilt. Right fellas, so I've came to Engine Services in Dunstan. I'm here with Gordon, who's a magician with YB engines. So mate, where are we up to with the head? I know you've done some work on it.
Up to the head, I've put the valve gauges in, most of them. I've left a couple so I can show you how it's done. I've cut some of the exhaust seats, same again, I've left a couple so I can show you how it's done. And we need to get them gauges in, cut the rest of the seats, get the valves lapped in, give it a skim and assemble the head, and then we'll go from there.
Right, can we have a look where we're
Yeah.
Right, so where we're at mate, where we're
right.
at?
Basically what we've done, we've got all your inlet gauges in, bar 2, we've left them 2 so I can show you how it's done. We've got all the exhaust gauges in. I've cut them 2, and these 2. So now we'll get it set up and we'll cut these 2 just so you can see the difference. These seats they're a funny head Cosworth, well, most heads, but Cosworths in particular, when you put gauges in, the seats do seem to be a long way out.
What do you mean a long way out?
Just they're not cut square to the gauge you've put in. I don't know if it's a gauge because I've used all kinds of different gauges, and to be honest, there's not a good one or a bad one. They're all the same. So
what the gauge made out of, by the way? It's not brass, is it? Is it like an alloy bronze or something?
Like a phosphor bronze.
Phosphor bronze.
Yeah. Original ones are actually 2 different materials. The exhaust gauges are a different material to the inlet gauge.
Oh, right.
But on the aftermarket ones, all seem to be the same.
Same material.
You can get a cast iron gauge for them as well, but I always use these ones to be honest. Right, so this just floats on air. Just say I'm standing on a pedal down there to lock it. So you just hover it over the stem, you come down over the stem.
All right. Is that pushing there? Is that pushing it out?
No, that's not moving anything.
Right.
That's
going up and down.
hollow and it's just going down over that pilot. The pilots are a solid carbide pilot, in fact.
Are they all different sizes?
Yeah, these are all different sizes. So that's a 9mm.
Right.
If you just feel the weight of that.
Ah, it's heavy carbide, isn't it?
Aye, very heavy.
I work in a machine shop
compared to a standard steel pilot.
It's at least twice double, isn't it?
Yeah, more than double. Aye.
I work in a machine shop and we use solid carbide boring bars and they're quite,
right, yeah.
But they snap easy.
Yeah, that's the thing with these. If you come along with that machine, not so much with the big ones, but for small pilot, you come along, you catch it, you'll snap it. Yeah.
Whereas steel bends, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's no flex in carbide. And they're about 250 quid each.
I was going to guess about that.
They're not a cheap...
No, carbide's expensive, isn't it?
And this is all pretty much brand new. This machine's only probably 6 months old, I think.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. So like I say, you need quite a massive range from that 5.5mm, 4.5mm, right up to 9mm, and then you need the imperial sizes as well for the older stuff. So we'll hover it over. I should have showed you first. That there is fixed with that collar down. Once it's set up, you lift that collar and that allows that to float.
Right, like a floating head type thing.
So you set it up with the collar down, airlock it, and then you lift your collar before you start machining. So set that away.
Oh, right, so that in the centre is keeping the tool steady, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, that pilot, you can see it's a
it.
carbide pilot which is down perfectly square in the gauge. So now you cut the seat to suit where the gauge is.
Right, I'm with it.
And that's just a little single blade there. That's your single blade cutter there.
Little carbide cutter on it.
We have got different cutters, and what we might do with this is, them seats are starting to go quite wide, which Cosworth seats are quite wide anyway, to be honest, particularly on the exhaust. We might put a 60 degree on the inside just to make it a slightly narrower seat.
Right.
Which just helps the flow a little bit. Right, so we're just coming down there now.
So you just go into the cleans up?
Yeah, so you can see there, you can actually hear it and you can see the way it's moving that. That's how far the seat's out. We're only touching, starting to touch there, but I don't think we're cutting around here. I can't see from this side.
No, it looks like it's not really cutting there. Is that just the way it's worn?
It's the way it's worn. We're having the welding work done on the head as well. It sometimes moves things a little bit.
Pulls it out of position.
Yeah. So basically what you want to do is take as little as possible off. It might sound like we're taking a lot off there, but we're really not.
So is this more of a feel through the handle as opposed to a size, like a measurement size?
Well, you have got a measurement as well. We've got a dial gauge on here so I can see how much I'm taking off. The only thing with this machine is you're trying to look over the top to see what this side of the seat's like. And that looks pretty good to me. So I'll just float it off. We'll pull the pilot.
What are these made of then, Gordon, the seats? The
seats, there's a few different materials. Like, there's actually 3 different casting processes, I think, for seats. I've got it wrote down on a chart somewhere what the different processes are and what the seats are made out of. These aren't a particularly hard seat. You can get a harder seat than these.
Is it just like a hard steel?
It's like a hard steel, yeah, but there's 3 different processes of the way they make them, I believe. Right. I'm sure some boffin will probably comment and tell you exactly what
they're made out of.
What they're made out of. What you can do with this as well, I can lock that in and then use this as a fine feed.
Right.
Which is sometimes a little bit more accurate, and the seats is quite a way out.
Sounds like quite a hard material the way it's cutting.
They are quite hard. Actually, that's a good one to show you there, because I can just see a cutting just come off there. That's the sort of cuttings we're taking off. I don't know if you can see that or not.
It's tiny, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it actually looks a lot, but it is just really, really small cutting. Yeah, it's just a very, very small cutting.
Now, we haven't put new valves in this, have we? We're using the old ones?
No, we're reusing the old ones, but I have refaced 2.
Right.
We'll reface the rest of them. I'll just show you why they're refaced and how we'll do it. I think we're okay there. Right, we've still got a little mark in the seat at this side, so we'll just...
Oh yeah,
a couple little marks just there, so we'll just give that a little tickle more. pretty much got that out. Right, so we're looking pretty good there.
Looking good, Alec, have a look.
Yeah.
Some nice clean seats there all the way around.
Yeah. So what we'll do now is, allegedly with this machine, you can cut them, you can put them in, and you can vac test them. If the vac up okay, just leave them. But I always like to give them good old-fashioned quick lap in. So what we'll do is we'll just pop these two valves which we've cut into them two seats. And we'll just vac it up and see what it does. This is a vac tester which is built in. So
Oh, right, so it's been
100% seal is there.
100%, that was 100%, was it?
Yeah, that's as good as the seal you've got, because we're down there into a solid bed.
Yeah.
So it's vacuuming up to what? Just 0.8 there. Now, when you vac up, anything past 5 is okay. Before 5 isn't so good.
Isn't good.
So, I don't know what we're going to get here. We're over 5, but only just. But bearing in mind, it takes nothing to
Knock
stop
them out.
it. Yeah. A minute bit of cutting underneath or anything like that will stop it. And you never get 100% seal, because you've got to remember, it's sucking air up the valve stem as well.
Oh, right.
Up the gate.
Because
you haven't got the springs or the seals on. Yeah, once the seals is on,
it makes a difference.
It makes a difference. Like you see, if you just tap them in, as long as we're over 5.
Will you lap them in, or do you leave it like
no,
that?
I'm going to lap them in anyway.
Oh, will that make a difference as well, will it?
Yeah, lapping them in makes a difference. So we're over 5, we're around about 5, but once they're lapped we'll be... I think these two I'll give just a quick lap before you arrived.
Do you slam them in to kind of make a seal?
Yeah, just if there's any bits of muck or anything in there, it tends just to disperse it a bit. So,
about 0.6?
About 0.6, yeah. You're not going to get too much better than that.
No, is that a good reading?
Yeah, that's all right. These two here haven't been lapped at all. We've cut them. Well, more than 0.6 on them two before we even lap them, yeah. But once we lap them, we'll get them all as good, if not better than that. Right, so what we'll do now, we'll just spin this round, we'll take it off. We'll get it in the hot wash. We'll get it hot before we take these two gauges out. We'll get them other two gauges in. The time that's in the hot wash, we'll cut the rest of the valves.
Right. What temperature is the hot wash, Gordon?
It's up to about 65 degrees, I believe, there now, yeah. I've left it turned on, so it's...
Too hot for a bath, then, eh?
Ah, it would
take your skin off.
Burn you a little bit. Right, so we'll just unclamp the head. Right, so we'll put this in the hot wash, we'll get it nice and hot.
God, that's a big cylinder head, Gordon. What's that, off a boat?
Caterpillar, I believe.
Caterpillar?
I believe it's Caterpillar. So that's your head there.
Right.
So just...
How long will we leave it in the hot wash?
We'll give it a good 10-15 minutes.
Just to get fully hot all the way through?
Just to warm it right through, yeah. So that's rotating there now.
That's the water blasting it?
That's the water blasting it. So you feel that straight away, you feel how hot that's getting.
Oh, it is hot, that, isn't it?
It's hot.
Right, so what we're doing here, Gordon?
Right, we're going to reface these exhaust valves, because we'll give them a quick lap in. And you see how you've got little black...
Oh, right, yeah, little black marks on the
so
valve.
they're just very little sort of light pitting in the valves. The inlet valves look absolutely perfect, so we're probably just going to...
Leave the inlet valves?
We're probably just going to leave the inlet valves. There's no pitting at all in them. So what we'll do is, when we come to lap these in, we'll give them a light lap, and if the valves look perfect, which I think they will, because we've already lapped one or two of them, there's no pitting at all in them.
So that's a lapped one, isn't it, with the dull finish?
Yeah, a dull grey finish, that's a lap valve, but there's no pitting at all in them.
No.
So if the valve's good like that, I would rather leave it rather than cut it, because obviously you're cutting them, you make them thinner. And obviously the thinner the valve is, it'll then, if it's too thin, it'll start pocketing into the head and sort of curling the edge of the valve.
Like
if it's really thin, yeah. And they're not a particularly heavy, thick valve anyway. Now some valves are real heavy valves. I don't know what we've got lying around. See, they're quite a heavy valve. See, we've got quite a
thick. Right, like thick seat.
Yeah. So you've got a little bit more chance with them than you have with a Cosworth valve. So quite narrow on the edges anyway.
Yeah, I get what you mean. There's not much land there.
Yeah. Some valves, some of the old tractor stuff are really, really heavy valves. I haven't got a lot lying around at the minute to show you, but anyway, we'll get on, we'll cut these. So, I've already dressed the stone before you got here, actually. I've just cut some valves this afternoon, so I've dressed the stone so we know that's good and sharp and dressed. So you just pop the valve in the chuck till the stop, which is already set because I've already cut a couple of your valves today anyway. So that adjusts the stop inside the chuck. The valve's in there now. Come along, sets the valves away, stone's turning down here. You have a steady flow of cutting oil over the valve all the time.
Alright. Mind the way there.
Oh, you're alright. Right, so we're just going to come in gently. See the valve starting to cut.
So you're literally just cleaning it up a bit?
Yeah, we're just taking a very light cut off it, just starting to cut there now.
So you can hear it, yeah.
We'll keep the stone moving over it. Just back that off and have a look. Got a little black mark left there. Oh, it was just a bit of muck actually. That face now, we'll get a bit of rag.
Nice and clean.
Yeah, so I've got a couple of tiny little pits just on the very edge there.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I think I'm just going to leave them because where the valve laps in, it's not going to be anywhere near them.
Right. Is that just off heating over time? So
yeah, it's just off pitting. Obviously,
the exhaust valves will take a bit more.
The
of a
valves
beating
get quite a bit of beating. Yeah. What we'll do is, when we come to lap that in, if we lap it in and we think them pits are going to cause a problem, we'll always stick it back in, cut a little bit more. But like I was just saying, I would rather not cut too much off valves anyway, because you make them thin, you create more problems. So we'll just go through all them, cut all them the same.
You're doing all 16?
We're going to do all the exhaust.
We're
going to do all the 8 exhausts. We're going to leave. That one actually looks bent to me. I think we've got a bent valve there.
Alright, it does look bent, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's bent, that I would say. That's bent. We'll start and cut it, but we'll see this is just going to cut on one side only.
Right, need the stone.
That valve there, you can see we're just touching it there, and nowhere else. So that valve's bent.
That's scrap.
That's scrap. So now, I would expect to find another one, because it's not often you bend valves in one, you normally bend them in pairs.
Right.
So these valves haven't been kept in order, they have been mixed up, so it could be any one of these other ones. I would expect to find another bent one. You know, when you strip the engine, do you remember any contact marks on the pistons?
I didn't look.
No.
I'll have a look when I get home.
Have a look, yeah.
So do I need to order a valve then? Gordon, have you got one?
I don't know if I've got a one, mate, to be honest. I've got spare inlets, I know I've got inlets, but I don't think I've got any exhaust.
Do they come in a set of 8?
No, I can buy them separate.
How's that one came out?
That one's fine.
Alright.
Yep, that was fine.
There's no marks on the valve, is there, Gordon, as if it's hit something, but I suppose...
Not that I can really see, but...
it would bend the aluminium piston, would mark more than the valve, wouldn't it?
And there's the second one.
Is that one bent as well?
Yeah.
Like you say,
I've cut more off this one.
But it is bent?
It is definitely bent. You see, it's not touching at all around there.
So what do you think would have caused that then, Gordon?
Possibly a timing belt failure at some time, or... I've known people bend valves if you miss a gear and you over rev them. I've known them clip valves.
So we've got 2 bent valves there.
Yeah.
We're getting the head out the wash. Now this will be too hot to pick up with your bare hands, won't it? So
you can pick it up, but before I bit off with a bit of rag because it will be quite warm. I just managed to stop right at the front as well. So all the time that wash has been on, it's been rotating like that. Obviously you've got
the jets
coming up and jets coming down. You can't see them for the steam.
We've got like a smaller one at work.
Yeah.
And I use it for little jobs that I do.
Yeah, they're a good machine. This one's, it's not that old, it's only about 18 months old. We had a smaller one, but it was just too small. You know, obviously that big cylinder head wouldn't have went in.
We've just got a small one at work, like, but it's ideal for washing my car parts. See, I was using a dishwasher in the house.
Right, so these, see in there, they're all new gauges we've already put in. We've just got these 2 here, which are your old ones to knock out. So that head is, it's touchable, but it is hot.
It is hot, that. So you're looking for some kind of punch?
Yeah, these are proper pilots for knocking gauges in and out. You've obviously got, that's your 8mm one, which you would use on your exhaust gauges. Right, so we've got our pilot into there, so we're just going to drift these out. Hopefully with the head being quite warm, they should come. They're coming straight out. That's it. If the head's cooled, they'll not come out like that.
No.
So we need to be kind of quick now.
Keep the head hot.
Keep the head as warm as we can. If we need to put it back in, we can, and warm it through again. So on Cosworths, you've got a wire clip on the guide there.
All right, we're reusing that.
Yeah, we're reusing them. Flick them off. Try not to stretch them, because if you stretch them,
and they'll go back on the same.
They do go back on the same. I have got some new ones if we need them, but you generally, if you can get them off like that, you haven't got a problem.
That's a little thing there, what you've just taken off.
That's just a little circlip.
Let's have a look at that guide there, Gordon. So this is what the valve goes up and down in. There you've got your oil seal at the top there.
Yeah, that's your valve stem seal at the top. You see, don't open them up and try and pull them off just gently.
So what does that clip do, Gordon? Is that stopping the valve guide going into the head too
far?
It's... Or is it for the oil seal, or...?
No, it's just to stop the valve guide dropping down too far.
Right.
They're a tight guide anyway, so it wouldn't move. There's not many heads got these on.
Is there not?
Some of the Mercs did, I think possibly some of the BMs, but Cosworths do for some reason. But if I go in here, these are valve guides that we put in. You'll not find a valve guide in there with a groove in the top for a...
Right, so it is quite rare.
Yeah, very rare.
Do you wear them in?
Yeah, that's a Cosworth one. That's possibly one of your exhaust guides.
Alright. So it's got the clip.
See, it's got the groove in there. Yeah, but that's a year's worth of gauges in there. That's how many will fit. That's a year's worth.
Big ones, fine. What are they off?
No, they're not. They're injector sleeves.
Oh, right.
Out of a tractor diesel head or something. Probably a Leland or... But that's... Valve gauge are a very common thing now. Very common thing.
So that's a scrap one?
That's a scrap one, yeah.
Can I take that, Gordon?
You can take them.
I like little bits like this.
Right, so that's your 2 clips there. Easiest way to put them on is go from the bottom. And just slide them up and they just drop in.
Alright, yep.
You see, it's okay to reuse them as long as you haven't stretched them. And because when you actually put the guide in, I'll show you when we get the head back out. The guide goes into like a recess in the head anyway, so there's no way, once that guide's in, there's no way that clip will come off, because the cylinder head sort of goes up
and over it.
Right, so putting the guides in, people have different methods. You can press them in, but you've got to mess about, particularly on a Cosworth head, you've got to mess about getting the angles perfect. On a flat head, you obviously just put them under press, you can just press them straight in. All I just use a lump of brass.
So you don't damage them?
So you don't damage them, but what I'll also do is, on Cosworths in particular, if you're knocking on there, directly onto there, you can damage that top of the guide. So what I do is, I've just got a couple of washers.
Alright, so you're going off the collar?
So you're going off the much stronger part of the guide.
That makes sense.
Knock them in with that.
Right.
So you're not knocking on that very thin edge because it'll just shatter and break away. You're going off the stronger part of the guide there. With a lump of brass, plenty of oil, and they normally go in okay. Famous last words.
Till we video it then.
Till we video it out. So if you just look in there, you'll see the little sort of recess where that spring clip sits.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And now the key is to try and get it in when the head's still hot.
And the reason you do it when you're hot is the hole's a bit bigger when it's hot.
It just,
as it cools down, it shrinks.
Yeah, just aluminium obviously expands quite a bit when it gets hot. Plenty fresh, clean oil.
Is that just engine oil?
It's just engine oil, yeah. Guide in, lump of brass. As soon as you start tapping it, it'll square itself up. Now you're going a lot of sound here, you'll hear it when it gets...
When it hits the bottom. Win?
Problem is, you're trying to hold the drift there and you're burning your hands all the time on the head.
So what are you looking for? You're looking for that clip to see how far in the recess it is.
Yeah, and it is just right down to the rear. I don't know if you can get that in to see.
There we go a bit.
I'm pretty sure it's right down in there.
Looks the same as the other ones, doesn't it?
Cools down fairly quick, doesn't
it? You can feel it cooling down pretty quick. Like, I'll pick that up now.
Yeah, they do cool down fairly quick, which is why speed is of the essence. You can hear the tone changes
as it hits the bottom.
As it hits the bottom.
So you got a magnet there to pull your washers and your screw out.
Pull the spacers and that off. Yep, so that looks good to me.
Are we in?
That's perfect there now. That's in.
Perfect, yeah?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Get me better than that then. And I'm just going to ask Gordon this. Around the valve guides, there's a big flat area. Like a bit. Is that where the spring sits against?
Yeah, but what you've got is that goes on first.
All right.
So that goes on.
Then you spring on top of that.
And then valve stem seal, and then you spring on top of that. Yeah.
Right.
After you put your guides in, not all guides are finished guides. Sometimes you've got to ream them. Sometimes you get away with them. Sometimes you've got to ream them. So obviously one clearance, these are actually pretty good, these ones.
And the reason we're changing the valve guides is when we took the head to bits,
they were worn.
So when we lifted the valve up, there was quite a bit of rock on them, wasn't there?
So you see that you've got to have clearance.
So there's like a tiny bit there now,
which is what you want.
Near what it was.
You'll have a little bit more on your exhaust because you normally run a bit more clearance on your exhaust because obviously a lot more heat there, which is one of the reasons your valves are sodium filled to stop them expand too much and nipping up in the guides.
In the guides.
Yeah. Right, so I'm happy with them.
Good.
So 9 times out of 10 you've got to cut the seats, but just out of curiosity we'll just see what they're like without cutting the seats. We'll just plonk the valves in, we'll vac test it and see what the vac up like.
Without cutting the seats?
Without cutting the seats.
And if it's alright, will you leave it? Or will
if
you
it's alright, we'll just slap them in, leave them. If it's not okay, we'll cut them.
Is there any way of telling if this is the original valve seat, Gordon, or...?
I would be very surprised if it's not the original seats.
If it's not the original?
Yeah, I think they'll be original for 100%, they'll be original. You don't tend to change valve seats unless you have a serious issue. If you snap the belt and you clatter the valves that hard that it bent or snapped the valve and the valve come up and damaged the head, you maybe have to put a seat in, but normally you would never have to.
This head as well, it has been for welding. It had quite a bit of corrosion, wasn't it, Gordon?
Yeah, it was quite bad.
So I've had it sent out, welded, and it still needs skimming.
Yeah, what I've done is I've skimmed it just to get the weld off, to get it somewhere near flat, yeah. Just so we'll make sure we're happy with the welding. We still have got a few little marks in it, but I don't think it's going to cause a problem. It's not anywhere critical near the gasket line, near your fairing or anything like that.
And is the last job going to be to skim it, to avoid marking it?
Last job will be to skim it before we wash it and then put it together.
It'll have to be a perfect face as well, won't it, for your head gasket?
Yeah. Right, so we'll just plonk them in. We'll just vac it up out of curiosity and see what they're like. We'll just go back over to the vac tester.
So we're looking for something over... Oh, that's a good one, isn't it?
Right.
I was going to say, what, over 0.5 or something,
over 0.5, yeah. Anything over 0.5 is good. That's
mint.
That's not even perfect, that.
That one's good as well, isn't it?
That is that.
Another good one.
Another good one. So we'll make it away without even cutting these seats. Oh, they're all good.
So you wouldn't even cut these seats
now?
Not
even cut them. We'll
lap
them.
Right.
We'll lap them, but there's no need to cut them because
So they're going to go even better. But you're saying a total block, like a total seal is
around. If I stick it on there, that'll give you an idea what a total seal is around 8.
So we're near enough there now, aren't we?
Yeah, like I said before, you're never going to get 100% seal because you're drawing air down past your valve stems. But that's good, that. Yeah, we'll just give them a lap and be happy with them.
Are these the exhaust valves, Gordon, we're doing here?
No, these are the inlets.
Inlets?
These are the inlets.
Is that your paste you're going to use?
Yeah.
It looks quite gritty, that, man.
That's a coarse paste.
It?
We have got some fine as well, but we'll do them with a coarse first.
Right.
You don't need a lot, you just need...
How much you put on there?
That's more than enough, to be honest. I always use a little bit of fluid. It's just...
Is that engine oil?
No, it's just the fluid out of the parts washer. That's all that is. Just like a paraffin sort of mix, yeah. And it just helps them lap.
Are you putting much pressure on that?
No, just...
No?
It's hard to put pressure anyway because you just slide down the stick, but no, you're basically just turning it and
just spinning it.
Just setting the weight of the valve. When you hear it stops cutting there, it's because it's pushed all the paste off the seat, so you just...
Move it about.
Yeah, we'll just put a touch more on. Right, so what we'll be looking for is, you're looking for a good solid grey line all the way around the valve and all the way around the seat.
Right. So you don't want to see any breaks in the grey line?
No. That looks absolutely spot on. You also need the seat to be the same. That look good?
Looks good to me, mate.
Looks good to me, yeah. I wouldn't expect anything else, to be honest. The way it's vacked up, we're not going to have a problem with this at all. But we'll go along and we'll do them all, and then if needs be we can go along with some fine paste and give them a little lick with a fine paste. But now when you've been doing this for a while, you can, as soon as you start a lap of valve, you can hear if it's right or if it's wrong.
What are you listening for? Like a consistent sound?
It's just a different sound when it's if you're only lapping half a seat or 3/4 of a seat, and you can hear it when you're lapping it doesn't sound the same.
It sounds like two quite hard metals as well, rubbing together.
Yeah, well, yeah, they are quite both a hard material.
How many times do you reckon you've done that over the years, Gordon?
Not as many as a lad that used to work for us.
Really?
I say work for you, only worked for us for the first 5 years when we took the business over, but he was here before me. And I think I've already told you I've been here 40 plus years. I think he had another 5 or 6 years on top of me. So he left when he was 60, and I believe he started when he was 16.
God.
So he was here
So
for
he
a
done some
long time.
lapping.
And that's his job was cylinder heads. That's
Aye.
all he done was cylinder heads. All day, every day. Which would drive me crazy, but it didn't bother him. He just got on and
Got on with it. Did you ever see him?
I've never seen. We see him if he pops in getting his car MOT next door out like that, but I don't see much of him, to be honest. So you see, I've lapped that one, and it's not 100%. See, there's still a little bit. It's grey-ish, but it's not as grey around there. So we'll just give that one a little bit more.
Oh, right, yeah. And
See, there's still a little bit of sort of.
Little slight shine to it.
Yeah, a little glaze to it still, so we'll just give that a little bit more. See, some people say, oh, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, but I'm a firm believer, and if something's not broke, if them seats don't need cutting, why cut them?
I always think that, just keep it simple.
Yeah, if it doesn't need it, don't do it.
Don't overcomplicate things.
You find on these exhaust seats have always had a bit of a hammering, so you know you've always got to cut them. But inlet seats you can sometimes get away with them.
Mate, these must take a battering. If you think you're doing, if your engine's ticking over at 1,000 revs a minute,
yeah,
that's getting battered 1,000 times every minute.
Yeah. Oh, that's on tick over.
On tick over, right?
Yeah.
Then if you're blasting around track or whatever.
Yeah, they get a bit of abuse over the years.
I think they do well. Engines made to run for what they do.
I think they do, yeah.
Considering how many rotations they do and what they go through.
As you know, I've got a 3-door, and that's not so much now, but that used to get some abuse.
Did it when you were younger?
When I was younger.
Have you had it on track in that?
I've had it round Croft pretty much every year. We'll have the short Croft, I get it on there. Track, yeah. The 3-door I had last, my first 3-door. First time on track with that, I got black flagged for going sideways everywhere. The black flagged us. Yeah, that was my first time on track actually.
Was it?
But I like Croft, it's a nice circuit to drive. Aye. I'll tell you what's a better one, which I really enjoy, is Knockhill.
Scotland?
Aye, that's a brilliant track. Right, so we're just about there with that one. Looks pretty good to me.
Right, so the valves are lapped in, Gordon.
Yep.
For what we can do. There's a block goes on here that holds the camshafts down.
There's a cap goes on there which holds the bearing in the front, which holds the cams in, yeah. And
the thread's missing, isn't it? So we're going to put
when we stripped it, I don't know if you remember when we stripped it, the bolt wasn't tight. So there's no threads at all left in that.
In the hole.
In that hole there.
It looks like maybe this has got helicoils in these as well.
Yeah, we've just had a magnet on, and it does definitely seem as if it's magnetic. Not massively, but it is slightly magnetic. So yeah, somebody's maybe been like that in the past, and
pretty common, I'm guessing, as well for the
it is pretty common.
Aluminium heads.
Yeah.
If you just over tighten, aluminium threads are obviously soft, and if you go a bit over enthusiastic, you're just going to pull
the trouble is that the torque setting on them is probably about 8 Newton meters or something like that, and people get a spanner on or a ratchet on and they york them down. They just over tighten them. Well, put a time cert in, that's it, job sorted.
And a time cert is different with helicoil, isn't it? A helicoil is like a spring, whereas a time cert's like a bush.
It's a solid steel sort of insert. This is a Worth kit. Worth kits, it's probably one of the best ones on the market, although they have changed them lately, and they've changed the inserts to these light coloured ones compared to the old.
Oh, right, a darker one.
And I keep kidding myself, if you feel them two, I'm sure the black ones is heavier than the other ones.
Maybe it's a different kind of steel.
Yeah, I prefer the black ones, to be honest. Yeah. Right, so we're going to just do this by hand. You can't.
So you're going in with a drill by hand as well?
Yeah. You can't do this with a drill.
What size drill have you got there, Gordon?
It's a proper one. It's a proper one out the time cert kit.
Right. So you get a drill.
You get a drill.
tap.
You get a counter bore. You get the tap, and you get the inserting tool. This is a brand new kit we just bought because unfortunately they don't last forever.
No.
And they do when if you're a little bit hand-fisted with them, you can snap drills or taps. Or if you do it by hand, all you've got to do is make sure you keep it nice and square.
Like putting a tap in.
Yeah, but with a new drill, a new kit, and this little hand tap wrench, it kind of finds its own centre and
goes in itself.
It goes in itself, yeah.
So has that drill got a square on the end for your tap wrench?
Yeah, yeah. They are designed to be used
by hand.
Yeah.
Makes sense, to be honest.
A square there. Right, so we've tapped down the bottom of that hole. I shall see a drill down to the bottom. So right down to the bottom of that hole
nice
there.
Plain hole.
What we'll do, we'll just blow any cuttings out. That's it, so we've got a nice clean hole down there now. Next step is you counter bore it, which is just cutting a little recess for the shoulder of the insert to sit in.
That's so it doesn't sit up, so it can sit flat.
Yeah, so it sits flat, yeah. Same again, just by hand.
The head's aluminium, so I'm guessing it's pretty easy to turn.
Yeah, if this was cast, you would probably put it in the
machine,
in the drill, or you could set them up on the pedestal drill, or even that the machine we've just used there to cut the seats. You can set them up on there as well and put a chuck in and do them on there. But see, especially when the kit's is new, it's something it's better just doing them by hand because everything's nice and sharp.
How much is the kit then? I bet that's a couple £100, is it? Or 100 quid at least.
Yeah, could be wrong, but I think they're about 180 quid or something like that. What we tend to do is try and wait till Worth's got them on offer and buy them.
Get it on a bit of a discount.
Yeah.
So you're going a bit deeper than the head with that?
Yeah, you basically just go down with the tool until you hit that shoulder there, and that's the depth you want to be at.
Right.
So we're actually at the right depth there now. The next stage is to tap the hole.
Is it left or right-handed tap?
Just normal right-handed. Well, this is the one where you've got to try and keep it nice and square. So
actually going into a new hole, aren't you? So
yeah,
you're not
so you
following
always
the thread.
just start it and just have a look. See there, I'm skew width with that.
Yep.
So you just back it back off and just
pull it over a bit.
Pull it over a bit. And try again.
It's an art starting to tap off mind, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It's not that easy, especially if you start it and it goes cockeyed. It tends to.
It's quite hard to square it up. I'm not too far away there. So you just go at the bottom of the hole, wind it back out, and we'll blow the cuttings out and we'll go back down again and get right to the bottom of it.
It's a nice thread now, to be honest, mine.
Yeah. A little bit of fluid doesn't harm neither. Right, so we'll just go down there again. So we're right at the bottom of the hole there now. We've got all the cuttings out, we're down to the bottom.
So you've got one tap left there, is that to put the...
That's the inserting tool, the next one.
Put this in?
To put that in, yeah.
Using a black one or a silver one?
I'm going to use the black one, mate. I like the black inserts. Believe it or not, now when we order inserts off Worth, we've got to specify black, and they've got to come from America.
Really?
They order them from America.
I wonder what the difference is. Do you reckon it's just a coating?
I think it's material, because quite often you put these in, especially on the bigger ones, and they tend to snap the top of the insert off.
Oh, right.
And I believe we're not the only ones that's complained about them. I think there's quite a few of the customers, according to rep, has complained about them. Black ones you never get a problem with.
Right.
Seeing that.
Till now, till we're video on it.
So you put a little bit of oil on the inserting tool.
So this is an M6 thread, what we're fixing, isn't
yeah,
it? Is that an M6 tap?
M6 by 1.
Is it slightly tapered or something so it locks it
No,
in the insert?
That insert there, if you can just zoom in on the end of it, you'll see how the threads are just flat.
Oh, it's missing on the end.
Yeah.
See if I can get that on there, Gordon. Ah, so it's missing the thread on the very end of the insert.
Yeah. So when you screw your inserting tool in, it goes through the insert.
And stops.
And as it goes through, it forms a thread in the bottom of the hole and it spreads the insert to hold it in.
Ah, right.
But I always put a little bit of Loctite on them as well, just a drop. So I'm going to blow that hole back out again. So this isn't just it's not just a thread lock, it's a high strength retainer, like a bear and fit retainer. So you just need...
So what, like super glue or something, like a... What do you mean by that, what you just said?
It's a high strength retainer for putting bearings and things on. So once it's in and gets a hold,
it doesn't let go.
It doesn't let go. So we'll just screw it into there. You wind that down so you feel it goes tight and then it'll go slack as it goes through. So it's went through the insert there now.
And came out the bottom?
And came out the bottom.
So that's a full thread all the way through?
Yeah, it's touching the bottom of the head there now.
That's better than a helicoil, that, isn't it?
Oh, far better. Far better than a helicoil, in my opinion anyway.
Sounds better, to be honest.
So now that's actually as strong as like...
But stronger than what was there before as well, isn't it?
That's probably an 8mm tap, fine 8mm tap. So now, when you screw something in there, that solid steel insert, it's like pulling on an 8mm thread instead of pulling on a 6mm thread. It's made that hole so much stronger.
And it's glued in.
Yeah. I don't know if it's true or not, but when the Repsol with this gear, probably 30 years ago originally, he reckons that a lot of the main dealers use these time certs in the factory, like Nissan and that use them in the factory. If they strip a thread on a case and a gearbox case or something like that, rather than scrap the case, and they'll put a time cert in.
Right.
Whether that might have just been a sales pattern, I don't know, because he could sell sand the Arabs that bloke. He really could. He was called Paul Gascoigne. The original Worth rep was
Was he really?
Paul Gascoigne, and he could sell sand to the Arabs.
So that's done now?
So that's done now, yeah.
Mint.
Right, oil gallery plugs. I've already cheated a little bit and I've already cracked these ones off because they can be quite tight. So I think we mentioned it last time. You've got 4 of these plugs. You've got 2 in each end of the head.
And the oil ones down this channel here, doesn't it?
Yeah, well these...
And it feeds the tappets, the lifters?
Yeah, you feed your lifters through here. The idea of these is it's where the machine the heads, they drill through from one end to the other.
Right.
For your oil gallery. And obviously they've got to bung them. So it's always good practice just to take them out.
So it's just a little grub screw?
That's all you are, just a little grub screw.
Do you put a bit of Loctite on them when you put them back in?
Yeah, a little bit of Loctite on them. Or some sort of sealer. I always use Loctite, which is, looking at it's probably what they put in with originally. Yeah, they'll be put in with, maybe it's not Loctite, but they'll be put in with thread lock or something like that. Now they're actually...
Can you see through that?
Yeah, they're actually pretty clean. I don't know if I get a torch and put a torch on the other end of it.
I might be able to see if I can see that.
Yeah.
No.
And the other one's exactly the same on the other side. That one there's straight through as well.
Yeah.
So now what we'll do is, after we've skimmed it, we'll give it a good wash. And we'll get a brush down them.
Give them a good brush
get
out.
all the debris and rubbish out of them.
So what we're going to do now, Gordon?
We're going to skim it now.
Skim this bottom face?
Yeah, skim the top face. Because I've already had this on the machine after it was welded. It's already been cleaned off there, but you always just get a block or a flat file with a bit of paper on and just gently
get the high spots off.
Yeah, just in case there's any lumps of gasket or anything. If the head's been knocked, it'll just not sit flat on the machine. So we've already done this one.
So we know it's alright.
So we know it's alright, that's all that needs. Right, we'll move over the head for you, sir.
So this is basically like a fly cutter, isn't it?
It is. Some people mill heads, some people grind them. We have got a grinder as well. This is a fly cutter. If I can find one of the cutters, I'll show you what they are. That's the cutter there.
Oh, it's like a little button tip thing.
That's what does all the work, just one of them.
Like Gordon says, this head has been welded. It was pretty bad. Was it bad, Gordon, for a head? Or?
It was pretty bad in places, yeah. It was quite bad all the way around here.
A load of pitting on that, wasn't
yeah,
it? Like
it had
corrosion.
some quite bad corrosion in it.
You can buy new cylinder heads, but they are an absolute, well,
Absolute
a lot
fortune,
of money.
Yeah. I think you'd be hitting probably £3,000 plus, I would
Easy,
think, yeah.
easy. They're meant to be good though. The Smith & Jones
Smith
ones.
& Jones, yeah.
Meant to be really good bits of kit.
I think Burton do them, don't they?
Do they?
I'm sure Burton's, Smith & Jones, I'm sure they sell their stuff.
Be the same head, wouldn't it? Like same people that
Yeah.
made them. Just different suppliers.
Yeah. Right, so we've just adjusted them two uprights. So now we need to clamp the head down. So what I'll do, I'll just anchor two corners. Corner there, opposite corner over
Oh,
here.
right, so you don't go four
doesn't
corners.
doesn't matter which two corners you do, as long as you do two corners, you generally okay.
And obviously keep the studs well below the face of your head, because you don't want the fly cutter to...
Yeah, you've got to be nice and low down there. Right, so we've got them two there, anchoring the head. So that head is absolutely solid on there now.
I'm guessing we're not going to take a big cut, Gordon?
We're just going to take very light cuts until it's cleaned up.
So minimum.
Bare minimum off it. Always the little safety thing is just to check that you kind of get a feel of gauge under
All right.
any of the corners, so you know it is down nice and square. Right, so we're just off the head there, so I can spin that. I turned it down to a touch and I backed it off, so I can spin that now, so we're not touching the head.
Right.
So we'll set it away.
You don't use any coolant, any cutting compound?
On the last cut, you sometimes put a bit of lube on a WD-40 or a bit of paraffin or something like that, and it just helps the finish. You don't have to with different heads. Some heads you do, some heads you don't. Cosworth heads have never been one that came and give an absolutely mint finish.
Right. Is that cutting there now?
It's not cutting there now because the weld is a little bit higher.
Right, so it might just take some high spots off.
It might just take some high spots off.
Can you tell by the note when it's cutting?
You'll hear it, yeah, you'll hear when it starts cutting. And you'll see some cutting starting to come out as well. There were main two areas of weld was there and there.
Oh, that.
Yeah. You see we're starting to touch the head a little bit here. Also touching the weld over there and there.
Is that because the head could be warped?
The head will be warped, yeah. If you notice this side we're cutting just about the full width there. And this side we're not touching the head there, so the head's going to be a bit of a shape.
Bit twisted.
Probably with having it welded as well, it's probably distorted it a little bit. I think you had to have it away and welded twice, didn't you?
We did, it took maybe 3 times, I can't remember. It was back and forwards a bit.
So we're just putting a thou at a time on, that's all we're putting on.
Thou cut.
Thou cut.
That's a thousandth of an inch.
Thousandth of an inch. You see we're starting to cut here now. Just cutting there. That weld there is just about flush with the face now. And we're cutting full width there now. So just by putting a thou on there, we're now cutting full width right down to there. So that head is a bit of a shape. There's a little bit of debris still in that weld as well, which is why the finish isn't quite as good there, but we'll get that.
Get it out.
Hopefully get all that out.
Is that another thou cut?
That's another thou cut. So if I back that off, I'm not going to tell you to stick your fingers in till we're well out of the way, but that thou cut,
I can't even see it really, can you?
you can feel it there. That's where I was up to. You might feel it.
Alright, I can feel it, alright.
So it might look like we're taking a lot off, but we're not out of time.
No, it's not, was it?
They were still not touching this corner.
No, no, what?
That head's obviously twisted. You'd be surprised how quick it, another 2,000 it might be clean right over.
Is it the marks?
It's well, there's debris still in the weld. You cannot feel them. Right, that looks terrible, to be honest.
Looks terrible.
Yeah, you cannot feel it. I wouldn't be happy with that.
Back the welders.
Back the welders. I wouldn't be happy with that, to be honest.
So the marks in the aluminium head are nothing to do with Gordon. It's not Gordon's fault, and it's certainly not the welder's fault. I think it's just a problem with the Cosworth casting. Now, to get it fixed, I took it to Fitz Fabrication in Sunderland, where Eric, the owner of Fitz Fabrication, drilled the marks out with a drill. Then with an aluminium stick and a TIG welder, he then plugged a hole. And I was fortunate enough to be there when Eric was doing the welding, so he did give us a go on a 3mm aluminium plate, and to be honest, my welds turned out not too bad, but I think it did help that the welder was already set up by Eric, and I was welding on quite thick aluminium plate, where if you were doing 1mm thick plate, it would have been a lot harder. But yet again, a massive thanks to Eric from Fitz Fabrication in Sunderland for fixing the cylinder head, and obviously a massive thanks to Gordon for letting us film everything I do with him while rebuilding the cylinder head. And who knows, maybe I might even get myself a TIG welder after these welds. Right fellas, thanks for watching. The next video is going to be part 2 of the cylinder head rebuild. On the second video we're going to get the cams in, get all the valves in, get all the hydraulic lifters in, get the cam pulleys, everything on. Part 2 coming soon. But yet again, cheers for watching, and if you want to see more Cosworth content, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch us on the next one. Cheers.